Breaking news from the Pokemon Company. They have revealed a new set in Japan, and it already looks amazing. I'm Jet from inthirdperson.com. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about these new cards from the upcoming set, Stellar Miracle. Now, that's the name in Japan. These cards are coming out on July 19th in Japan. We will most likely get these cards in the fall, most likely September, because we've got Shrouded Fable coming out in August. The set has 102 cards, and some of the cards they've already shown are insane, including like basically a new type of Pokemon. Now, this is still a Terrapagos EX, and it's a Terrapagos EX. It's our first time seeing Terrapagos as a card, and you can see it's not like the other Terras we've seen. It's got that rainbow border, and what makes these sort of stellar Pokemon different is that they've got funky attack costs. As you can see, that second attack has a grass, water, and lightning energy, and that looks horrifying, but there are a lot of ways to mitigate that here. So let's start with that. Actually, the second attack, where Crown Opal for 1 grass, water, and lightning does 180 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from basic non-colorless Pokemon. Now, being able to wall off against certain things like, say, a Raging Bolt in the current meta, that's pretty awesome. Now, against evolution decks and stuff, it's not going to matter, but it's a cool utility attack to have. But the big attack here is Unified Beatdown for 2 colorless energy, does 30 damage. Now, well, 30 damage for each of your benched Pokemon. And you can't use this turn 1 going second, which is a really interesting stipulation to add to this card. Now, normally, this would only do 150 damage if you've got the bench full. However, we get Area 0 Underdepths, where if a player has a Terrestrial Pokemon in play, that player can have 8 Pokemon on their bench. And if the stadium goes away or a Terrestrial goes away, then you have to reduce your bench down to 5. We have seen this effect before. We saw this as Skyfield as a stadium where both players just got to have 8 Pokemon on their bench. Here, there's a stipulation you have to have at least 1 Terrestrial Pokemon in play, which doesn't seem like that big of a condition to fulfill. And getting 8 Pokemon on the bench leads to some absolutely wacky combos. It's going to get Terrapagos' damage up from 150 to 240 damage, which is a nice number to hit, and that's before any sort of modifiers like a maximum belt potentially hitting you, helping you hit for up to 290 on a basic Pokemon, which is pretty awesome. And there are some other Pokemon that can benefit from this stadium as well, including Palkia V-Star, where it does 60 plus 20 damage for each Pokemon on both benches. Theoretically, Palkia V-Star with this stadium in play can now hit for 360 damage off 2 energy, effectively one-shotting anything in the game. So this is potentially Palkia's last ride as a top-tier deck once this stadium drops. I can't wait to try it. Torterra might be playable now that its Force March attack can do upwards of 240 damage if you've got 8 grass Pokemon in play. Toxtricity seems like a really wacky combo with its Loud Mix attack, where it does 50 damage plus 30 more damage for each different type of Pokemon on your bench. It seems also wildly inconsistent because you're going to have 1 of each color on the bench, but theoretically could do 200 and a lot. 290 damage. And then Regigigas becomes interesting as well, because you can fill your bench with stuff other than the Regi cards. You could have support Pokemon in there. You have to have at least 1 Terrestrial Pokemon to trigger the 8 card effect. But Regigigas can run also, like, they can run different Regi cards, right? Regidrago, there are 2 good ones, and you could, for different reasons, and you could run both of them at the same time. Or you could run just other Pokemon that normally aren't in Regigigas that now you could put in. So we could potentially see Regigigas come back as well. Also helping out with weird attack costs in these sort of stellar Pokemon is Sparkling Crystal. This is an Ace Spec where this attack cost of the Terrestrial Pokemon this card it's attached to is reduced by 1. So having to cut it down from 3 to 2 is absolutely huge, and potentially 2 to 1 in the case of Terrapagos EX's first attack for 1 energy hitting for upwards of 240 damage. Absolutely bonkers. And something to look for in Ace Spec cards now that We've seen some Ace Spec cards where it has the text that says if this card is in the discard pile, you can't recover it. You can recover Sparkling Crystal. So maybe cards like Silene and Roseanne's backup can get this Sparkling Crystal back, helping you maintain your offense and not having to pay the ridiculous costs of these stellar Pokemon. And also making things even easier is Crispin, where when you play this, you can search your deck for 2 basic energy cards of different types, reveal them to your opponent, and put one of them into your hand and attach the other energy to one of your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. So all of a sudden, the combination of Crispin plus the Sparkling Crystal plus attach from hand can should be able to let you power up Terrapagos's second attack in one go. And based on what I've seen, there are some leaks that have been shown that look very similar to the Terrapagos. A lot of those leaked Pokemon also have 3 energy as their wacky attack. So this combination of Crispin plus the Sparkling Crystal pretty much let you power all of these up in one turn. So really looking forward to playing with these types of Pokemon. And Noctowl is going to help set things up as well, also helping you fill up your bench with Terrapagos, where when you evolve into Noctowl, you actually get to grab 2 trainer cards from your deck, put them into your hand, and one of those is probably going to be Crispin to help you power up your Pokemon, and then something else of your choice, maybe a Boss or an Iono on a following play. So really cool card here, particularly in the context of Terrapagos EX. And with we've also got Fan Rotom here, and it has the ability Fan Call, where once on your first turn, you can use this ability, search your deck for 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. 100 HP is a weirdly specific number, right? Buddy Poffin caps up at 70, but for 100 HP, we can grab the new Bouffalant. I think that's how you pronounce it. And you'll want to grab Bouffalant with this, especially in the context of the Terrapagos deck, where it has the ability Carry Wall. If you have another Bouffalant in play, all of your basic colorless Pokemon take 60 less damage from attacks done by your opponent's Pokemon. So Terrapagos EX has an HP of 230, and with the Bouffalant in play, it effectively has 290, making it at the same level of like a stage 1 EX or a V-Star Pokemon, something to that level where it's going to be really hard to one-shot Terrapagos. And if you've got these Bouffalants in play, it's going to make your Terrapagos very tanky. So lots of cards that all work within the context of a Terrapagos EX deck, but just these stellar Pokemon. I mean, they're still Terra Pokemon mechanically, but because these attack costs, they're kind of different. Lots of support for covering that crazy attack cost as well, and just ways of flooding the bench for Terrapagos so it can use its big attack. I will say, like, I love seeing the Skyfield come back. I love seeing Terrapagos EX is basically the return of Eternatus VMAX. I have a soft spot in my heart for Eternatus VMAX because that was the first real deck I started running when I started playing the Pokemon trading card game back in the day. And this set already looks incredible. And I just wanted to say, like, I want to make a video on this. But in my time in the Pokemon trading card game, I started at the very tail end of Sun and Moon cards, into the Sword and Shield era, and I think the game is just so good right now. I love seeing the innovation from the Pokemon trading card game in terms of new cards they're introducing and old mechanics they're bringing back. I think the game is in a really healthy spot, and it is amazing to play, and I love being in this scene. But what say you? Are you liking the cards you're seeing so far? What sort of crazy combinations can you think of with some of the new cards that we've seen today? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I got to get going. Thank you so much for watching. You can find me on all the things: YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at InThirdPerson. You can find me on Twitch at InThirdPerson, where I stream the Pokemon trading card game every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And check out the website, inthirdperson.com, for more articles and videos on video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. So until the next one, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.